Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy here for Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with a couple nerds.
I'm Ted.
I'm Nate.
And before we get into this GM 911 from the forums, remember we had the newsletter. You guys should sign up for it. You're gonna get weekly tips, updates on Nerdarchy and nerdy stuff that's going on, and you also get a chance to game with Nerdarchy or details on how to do that through the newsletter.
Do it now.
Who was our guy?
This is a GM 911 from Tadpole Jackson.
Tadpole Jackson. How can I forget Tadpole Jackson?
How did you?
So, all right. So the gist is he's been like lurking around the edges of the game forever, and he's finally jumped in and he's decided to get a game going on. And all of his players are new, have no interest in really learning the rules or buying the books, but they still find themselves at his table.
They seem really distracted with life. That's what I'm getting out of it.
They've got college, they've got work. They bring out their phones at the gaming table, and since things tend to go slow, there's almost always some kind of side conversation happening.
Here's my take on it. He's a very serious DM, but he does not have serious players. So either they have to get on board with you, or you have to get on board with them. It sounds like you're going to have more wiggle room than they will. So, you know what? Take the rolls, chuck them. And, when you feel like because one of the problems is he feels like he has to spoon feed them. They don't take initiative on doing their own actions and engaging. Well, that's when you really need to engage specific players and not just throw the ball on the table and hope someone runs with it, because they're not going to, because you already know that. Keep the game light and fun, and don't worry about the rules. Don't worry about them learning the rules.
Right.
As you go along, just make callings. And guess what? No one's going to call you on it because they don't know the rules. You know what I mean? Ask them what they want to do. I'm going to try and do this. Let them try it. If you think it's even remotely in the possibility of their character concept or build or class or race, just let them do it. Yeah, and like, first level, I want to throw a fireball. Sure, call it a fireball, but use a low-level spell or whatever and replace it. And maybe it only does a D6 in like a 15-foot spread or something. Like, like I said, if you can engage them, they'll want to learn the rules more and get more involved in the game. But if you can't get to that point, there's no point. But they still want to come. They still get together. So
they still show up.
There's something there.
So I would look at it, and I would have a conversation with them at the start of the next session, or like he talked about doing PowerPoint presentations and all these group chats and whatever have you. However you want to do it.
Uber DM or DM from hell, I'm not sure.
Talk to your players and find out. They're enjoying the game. What is it that they want to take away from their table experience? Like I believe if I remember correctly, like they were video gamers, but they weren't playing tabletop. So they've got the interest. They're coming to the table, but you don't fully have them yet. Like they're not engrossed in your story. Well, is the story you're presenting what they want? The rules in tabletop RPGs, they're important so that everybody knows what can be done, but they're not important to the grand scheme of a story. So look at the story you're presenting. Find out if it's what they want. Do they want a slapstick game? Do they want a serious game? Do they want somewhere in the middle? Adding humor to a game, if it's something that you can provide or put forth, it can really get people going, or it can get people going off topic. So you have to figure out if your story is designed for your players and see if that's an issue. And having one PHP at a table, it can be a problem, but it doesn't have to.
Not really. Not if your players want to learn the rules. Yeah, and you can have 100 PHPs.
And it sounds like you're like the way he was going about basically training the players. You want to train the players to be the players you want to play with, but there's certain ways of training that's just not going to work. Like if you're training them like an office info like training, like here's your little pamphlet and here's this, and we're going to do a PowerPoint presentation.
You have to do carrot and stick in game.
Yeah, carrot and stick in game.
You have to implement things that are fun for them to experience, right? So you do something and it's fun, they'll want that more. So that's going to influence them. Another thing you're doing that might be a mistake is you're using Ebron as your campaign setting, when maybe you should be using a video game setting that they're all playing. Like if that's their thing, bring your thing to them on their thing's level, so that so that they can buy into it and they can sink they can sink their teeth into something that's familiar and is engaging to them.
Makes sense.
Like if they all play Skyrim or something like that. I mean, that's a pretty
absolutely.
straightforward world. It's very similar to D&D with a little bit of history differences.
Try and make your. See, I know tabletoppers hate this, but try and make your tabletop more like an MMO if that's what they like. Like ultimately, or you just have to find a new group. But I don't think it's really necessary.
As long as the players are actually coming to the table, you're doing something right. Build on that. You've got to capture their attention, and sounds like he's got things more sunken on the rules than on the story.
Yeah, that could very much be it. Try and focus more on story, engage the players. Don't worry about the rules. Just make arbitrary callings during the game. Heck, in some ways, it makes it a lot easier for you as the GM. I mean, we're grown-ups playing make-believe. Like, don't overthink it. Like, the rules are great, and 5e's got a great system to use, but I wouldn't latch on to that if your players aren't, because, for one, it's like you said, it sounds like they're all busy in life. So the last thing they want to do is spend time learning the rule, learning this rule set. And I know some of you guys the hackles are going up right now. You gotta learn the rules. But the key, it's a game and have fun. You can just scale back the rules, and as they play more, they'll get more experience with stuff. They'll learn stuff. Heck, you know what? Maybe you line the dice up in front of the screen or whatever, and you're like, hey, Jen, roll this die. Whatever you come up with that facilitates things, and just make it fun for them.
So, what do you guys think? Do you have any suggestions for Tadpole Jackson? Put in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, subscribe. You know the deal.
You can check us out over at nerdarchy.com.
You can tweet at us over on Twitter.
So until next time, stay nerdy.